Over the millennia, the grand tapestry of life on Earth has seen the rise and fall of countless species. Each extinction a silent echo in the vast theatre of nature. Yet the rate at which species are now disappearing is deeply troubling. It is no longer the work of natural forces alone, but the indelible mark of humankind. We are, in essence, redrawing the canvas of life, often with tragic consequences. By understanding the factors that led to their demise, we can learn to navigate a more sustainable path forward. For within their extinction lies a powerful lesson, a roadmap to prevent further loss and a call to action for a future where both humanity and nature can thrive. So, join me now as we traverse the annals of natural history and explore the fates of 10 extraordinary species lost forever.
High in the rugged peaks of the Pyrenees, a mountain range straddling the border of France and Spain, once lived a creature of remarkable agility and grace, the Pyrenean Ibex. These majestic wild goats, with their long scimitar-shaped horns, were perfectly adapted to life amongst the cliffs and crags. For centuries, the ibex thrived in this harsh, unforgiving environment. But by the turn of the 20th century, their numbers had dwindled to a precarious few. Overhunting, driven by a demand for their meat and horns, had taken a devastating toll. In a desperate attempt to save the species, scientists captured the last known individual, a female they named Celia, in 1999. Tragically, Celia was found dead just a year later, crushed beneath a fallen tree.
Off the coasts of Japan and the Korean peninsula once thrived a pinniped of remarkable size and social complexity, the Japanese sea lion. These large-eared seals with their distinctive brown coats and loud barking calls were a common sight in these waters. They congregated in bustling rookeries on sandy beaches, where females would give birth and nurse their young. However, their very presence, their size, and their value as a source of meat and oil would ultimately prove to be their downfall. Overhunting, particularly during the 19th and early 20th centuries, decimated their populations. The very shores they relied upon for breeding and raising their young were increasingly being developed for human use. The last confirmed sighting was in the 1970s, a solitary individual spotted on a rocky shore.
Across the sun-drenched plains of North Africa, from Morocco to Egypt, once roamed a magnificent antelope, the booble hartebeest. With its long, mournful face, spiraling horns, and reddish-brown coat, it was a creature that embodied the stark beauty of its surroundings. These large antelopes were highly social animals, forming herds that could number in the hundreds. Tragically, the booble hartebeest's very nature, its size, and its presence in open habitats made it an easy target for hunters. Its meat and hide were highly prized, and it was hunted relentlessly, particularly during the colonial era. By the early 20th century, the booble hartebeest was already a rare sight. The last confirmed sighting of this magnificent creature was in 1923 in Algeria.
In the heart of the Mojave Desert, a land of scorching sun and limited rainfall, existed an oasis of life, the Tecopa Hot Springs. And within those warm, mineral-rich waters lived a tiny fish of remarkable resilience, the Tecopa pupfish. Barely an inch long, these small, silvery fish had adapted to survive in conditions that would prove lethal to most other species. In the 1950s, the development of bathhouses and resorts around the hot springs began to alter the delicate balance of their habitat. The construction of concrete pools and the diversion of water for human use led to changes in water flow and temperature, disrupting the pupfish's breeding cycle. By the 1970s, the Tecopa pupfish was gone, a victim of our desire to tame and exploit even the most extreme environments. Its extinction serves as a stark reminder that even the most resilient of creatures are vulnerable to the impacts of human activity.
Deep within the ancient forests of the southeastern United States, a realm of towering trees and shadowy swamps once echoed the resonant drumming of a magnificent bird, the ivory-billed woodpecker. Larger than a crow, with its striking black and white plumage and a prominent ivory-colored bill, it was a creature of both beauty and power. These woodpeckers relied on large, dead or dying trees, known as snags, for nesting and foraging. Logging operations, driven by the demand for timber, were clear-cutting vast swathes of old-growth forest. The ivory-billed woodpecker, once a symbol of the American wilderness, is now feared extinct, a victim of our insatiable appetite for timber and the destruction of irreplaceable ecosystems. Imagine, if you will, the skies of North America darkened by the sheer number of birds, a spectacle so vast, so awe-inspiring, it boggles the mind. This was the reality of the passenger pigeon, once the most abundant bird on Earth. Billions of these birds, with their long pointed wings and iridescent plumage, once filled the skies of eastern North America. Passenger pigeons were hunted on an industrial scale, their meat considered cheap and plentiful. They were netted, trapped, and even shot from the sky in unimaginable numbers. The clearing of forests for agriculture further compounded their plight, depriving them of the vast tracts of woodland they needed for nesting and foraging. The last known individual, a female named Martha, died in captivity at the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914. The passing of Martha marked the end of an era, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unsustainable hunting practices and habitat destruction. In the wilds of Tasmania, an island off the southern coast of Australia, lived a creature of both fascination and fear, the Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine. This enigmatic animal, with its distinctive stripes, dog-like appearance and pouch like a kangaroo, was a unique marvel of evolution. The thylacine was a carnivorous marsupial, the largest of its kind, and played a vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of its ecosystem. Perceived as a threat to livestock, it was hunted relentlessly, bounties placed on its head. As human populations expanded across Tasmania, so too did the conversion of land for agriculture and other purposes. By the early 20th century, sightings were becoming increasingly rare. The last known individual died in captivity in a Hobart Zoo in 1936. On remote, rocky islands scattered across the North Atlantic Ocean, far from the reach of predators, once lived a remarkable bird, the great auk. Flightless and penguin-like in appearance, it was a master of the sea, diving deep in pursuit of its prey. The great auk was perfectly adapted to its harsh environment. Easy targets for hunters, great auks were prized for their meat, feathers, and even their bones, which were used to make everything from fish hooks to tobacco pipes. As demand for their feathers and other products grew, particularly in Europe, the great auk's populations were relentlessly exploited. The last known breeding pair was killed in 1844 on an island off the coast of Iceland, marking the end of this remarkable species. The great auk's extinction serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of overexploitation and the need for sustainable harvesting practices. In the warm turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea once swam a gentle giant, the Caribbean monk seal. These large, playful seals, with their distinctive brown coats and soulful eyes, were once a common sight throughout the region. They hauled out on sandy beaches to rest, give birth, and nurse their young, their lives intimately entwined with the rhythm of the sea. Hunters seeking easy prey slaughtered them relentlessly, their numbers dwindling with alarming speed. The very beaches they relied upon for breeding and raising their young were increasingly being developed for human use. The last confirmed sighting was in 1952, a solitary individual spotted near Jamaica. The Caribbean monk seal, once a symbol of the region's rich biodiversity, was gone, a victim of our insatiable appetite for resources and our disregard for the delicate balance of nature. High in the cloud forests of Costa Rica, a realm of mist-shrouded peaks and vibrant life, once thrived a creature of extraordinary beauty, the golden toad. With its brilliant, shimmering orange skin, it was a sight to behold, a jewel of the rainforest. The golden toad's life cycle was intimately intertwined with the ephemeral pools of water that formed during the rainy season. In the late 1980s, scientists began to notice a decline in the toad's numbers. The culprit, a combination of climate change and a deadly fungal disease known as chytridiomycosis. By 1989, not a single golden toad could be found. The golden toad's sudden disappearance serves as a stark warning, a harbinger of the potential impacts of climate change on vulnerable species.
The stories of these 10 extinct species, though diverse in their details, share a common thread: the devastating impact of unsustainable human activities. Habitat destruction, overhunting, climate change, and invasive species have all played a role in their demise. These creatures, once vibrant threads in the intricate web of life, are gone forever. Their extinction serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of ecosystems and the far-reaching consequences of our actions. But their stories are not merely tales of loss. They are a call to action, a plea for a more sustainable future. Let us honor the memory of these lost species by creating a world where both humanity and nature can thrive.